Okay, I've started recording.
Sweet.
So the stream's on, and the right screen is on, so I just won't click on that. Cool. All right, ready, guys?
Okay. All right.
It looks as though everything on my end is back up and running. It looks as though the stream is still dropping pictures, but hopefully it is recording things, and that will be enough. I'm going to cough up some bug spray, and we're going to hop back in. Again, Vaga has just revealed they had a previous relationship with Luminescence while this short rest is happening. Was there anything else you all want to do before we go to the next part?
Yes. Several. Specifically a question for you. I assume you can still hear me.
I can.
I had rolled a 17 on the Arcana check earlier when we were investigating the magical components that we found, specifically the burnt message stone.
Yes.
Is there anything we can do to use that as a locator for the remaining message stone, or is there anything that we can tell about that message? Anything that we could run currently?
A 17 would be high enough to know that if it had not been burnt, then yes. But because it has been, you don't think so.
So it's completely useless as far as we're aware?
As far as you're aware, except for the knowledge that it has already been used. So a message did go out to someone.
Okay. I guess in that case, we decided we split the Crag hearts 50 per player. We decided that we were going to burn all of the spears so that nobody could recognize them and trace them back to the dragon folk. And then as far as the component goes, if it's burnt and useless, we're just going to discard it. Probably burn it as well to be safe.
Okay. And around this time, a stirring in the corner begins to alert the party. He immediately begins to try to struggle and cannot. He's trying to get out of his rope.
I wouldn't move too much.
They're all dead, aren't they?
Izzy's gonna walk up to him and just kind of like walk up his leg with her stinger, just kind of like waving.
He's
just looking at him.
Shake it off with his leg. He's gonna shake it off. Yeah, give me athletics check for Izzy. Shoot, F it.
With advantage, maybe? Isn't he bound?
He's going to have disadvantage.
Okay.
That's how we're going to play that.
What would that be? A strength dex? A dex roll?
Acrobatics or athletics, either one.
Let's see here for her. We'll do acrobatics. So
okay.
Dex. Let me see here. $17 plus 2, 19.
Yeah, he got a 5. It's not going anywhere. Izzy's latched on tight to his leg and crawling up it, and he's like, and Izzy's just with her little stinger just kind of rattling a bit. And he was the one that was right next to the leader, so he knows very much so what that stinger can do and is terrified. What do you want?
I lean over and speak in Orcish to Vaga really quick, and I say, "You know more than I do what to ask him." And then I say in common to everyone, but mostly to the prisoner, "You're here to answer our questions."
Okay. Hey, I wasn't. It was just we were working. It was a job. I was just hired. It was a job. Okay. I don't mean you all any bad news. You melted everyone. We didn't know what we were getting into. Clearly.
Hey. And I sort of take my mace like the end and like sort of like turn his head over to me. I say very quickly in Draconic, you are going to tell the truth. And I switch to Common again.
You're the healer, huh?
Follow us in the dark. I know it was a job, but why did you follow?
The guy, the guy with the skins. He said you all had something that was really important, really valuable. And then he looks and he's like, I figured it was that thing. And he looks at Braum's giant shield. He said it was worth a lot. And look, I mean, yeah.
It is a
How
nice
much
shield.
was it worth to you? Enough to risk your life for?
There's not much work in Almanac at all. I was just glad to get paid.
Who was paying you?
The guy, he's like the guy. You don't even remember his name. The guy, he had the shop owner, the guy who owns the shop.
Hmm. Meta question. Do I remember? I remember meeting the shop owner. I remember the conversation. Did I get his name at all, or?
I believe you did. I don't remember it.
Okay. In that case, that means you can say anything.
I think it was Clarence or it was a C name. I don't remember exactly though.
Carl.
We'll say Carl for now.
Okay. What's the dragonkin version of Carl?
Carlac.
I'm just imagining the meat dragon from Llamas with Hats right now.
Cool. His name's Carl now.
Okay.
Carl.
Then I recall this, but I don't. Carl, yes.
Yeah. That's him. Yeah.
He runs a shop in Almanac. Then, he was very unfriendly to us. I don't see why we couldn't all be on the same side.
I don't see why not either. I mean, if you all need a hired hand?
I'm gonna be honest and say, who am I kidding? I'm always honest. I don't trust you. I don't believe you can be trusted. Best case scenario, we send you back to Almanac. Worst case scenario, you don't leave this house. You gotta give us something.
To put it another,
How can I make it the best case?
What are Carl's motivations?
You see him kind of think a bit. He definitely wanted something you all had, for sure. He was willing to go out into the waste to try to find it. I'm pretty sure that's a desperate guy.
Deeper than that. Look, we all live in the Crag. We all believe in the well-being, in a sense, of the Crag. Some people want more. Some people want to take what is others. But at the same time, if something were to endanger everyone living here, I feel confident that we would all be on the same side. You especially. You don't want to die. So tell me one more time, what do you know about what Carl wants? Something more than this weapon.
Quick question for the DM.
Sure.
Would, having been around for a little while, would Milo know if there was any connection between the mayor and the guy running the market?
Old friends. War friends. From before the war.
Okay, so having that knowledge, and while Hog is sitting there trying to talk and the dude's not talking, Milo's gonna just kind of step up a little bit. How's Cartax knees doing?
Was that? Oh no! And you see like the realization sink into his face of who he's talking to now, and he's like, "That's." Look, I have always believed that the halflings should be treated better. I have not done anything against them. They are a strong race of people, and I always support them. Listen, I have friends that are halflings.
Yeah, sure. How close were Carl and Cartax?
I mean, I don't think it was a secret. Everybody knew that they liked each other a lot. They were good friends. They I mean, they were no friends of mine, trust me.
So Cartax didn't send Carl out here for something else? Carl just came on his own for a shield, huh?
Well, I know the mayor hasn't talked to anyone at all. He's apparently not been well, but I suppose you know all about that.
So who has been talking to the mayor then? Perhaps, and I sort of take the ember of the message stone. Perhaps Garu said something before he attacked?
At this point, give me anyone can do it because you're all together here, but I would need an intimidation check, and you can roll with advantage, but you all decide who's going to do that.
I can run it.
Sure.
I have a proficiency in intimidate. Oh, that works.
What do we get?
I got a 17 or 15 total.
Okay. With advantage, so roll twice, take the higher one.
Okay. 15.
Okay. Yeah, and the stream looks like it is disconnected again. That's fine. We're just going to record it and upload it later, Trevor, if that's all right. I'll just give you the administrative control to 4-story games, and then you can just upload it there directly. Okay, Trevor? Because this stream is just not going to work today. But on our side, he kind of looks and he says, all right, yes, he did. I mean, he did call out to someone. It wasn't the mayor. It was some, what is her name? And you see him kind of thinking, it's like, he said it was reinforcements of some kind. A woman from the capital, Calatrax, I think her name was. Some sort of reinforcements. He said he found something really important. I thought it was the shield that he was definitely talking about, but it was some lady named Calatrax.
Would I have known that name, or would that have struck anything with me?
Everybody but Braum. Give me a history check. Braum, you know who that is.
I know who Calatrax is.
Yep. Female dragonkin. Do you recognize that name, Braum?
Oh, bitch.
17.
Say out your rolls as well.
6.
Okay.
I've just noticed, since we're recording the Roll20 screen, we're all using our names, our real names. Should we switch to our character names? Make it easier for.
If you can, yes.
Okay, Okay,
and
I should display as Hog now.
Okay. And Of all of you, I would say, and this makes sense, I would say, Milo, you recognize the name because of some experiences you've had in the past. This is the name of a noblewoman of some kind in Dragonborn society. She used to be a soldier, a captain, but closed some battle with some unofficial dealings of some kind, but it ended around the day of death. It ended a large conflict between two sides, particularly a human regiment and a dragonkin regiment. And it ended a fight kind of under, like, off the books. And no one really knows what happened to end that fight, but it did end, and two people went their separate ways. The two armies went their separate ways, with the dragonkin declaring victory and the human regiment not saying anything really about it. But that was something that happened immediately after the day of death, and since then, this lady has kind of risen in the ranks of dragonkin nobility. You've probably heard about her a little bit as one of the countesses that live in the main city. Back in, let's see, the name of that is Mar something. Hold on. Yeah, back in the Dragonkin capital is where
Meighsor?
Yes, is where she usually resides. But you've not. It's kind of strange to have heard of her doing anything really. But that's who it says that's you've picked up stuff studying Dragonkin for your own extracurricular activities. Good job. Yeah, Braum.
I'm pissed. I would like to roll to hit the punch him in the face to start with.
Sure.
I don't have an
Unarmed
improvised. I don't have an unarmed attack.
Let's do. It would be the same as your improvised weapon because you're proficient with your physical.
Sounds good. Punches him right in the face.
Yeah, you just punch him. Just hit the punch and then roll for damage. Yeah. You deal 4 damage to his face. And he, what the?
Perfect.
I'm trying to be helpful.
And then I grab him and hold my shield in front of him. Where is she?
I don't know. He said she was on the way, that she was coming here, that she would bring bronze knights to back her up.
When?
Soon. I don't know.
I throw him back against the wall.
Milo, shaking his head, starts pacing the room and starts like looking out the windows.
Give me a perception check.
$12.
Yeah, you take a look out. Do you want to send your lady out, Izzy out to just?
Yeah, I'm a whistle for her.
And with the cold weather as well, she's a white dragonkin, so she heads out and she's just going to run perimeter for right now. But at the moment, the coast seems clear.
Okay.
But you also know that the main capital is many days away, maybe a week or so away. So it's not, if somebody's coming from there, it wouldn't be too soon. But that is assuming that she is there, right?
Meighsor is the capital?
Yeah, of the dragon.
Would I know that?
Yes, but let's see here. I'm trying to just see. Yeah. Marthark, actually. That's the name of it. Sorry. Marthark. It's the place, if you look at the Crag map, it's all the way to the left. And you all are quite a few days away from Marthark.
Okay.
But that's where she is known to live, but that is where she's known to live. You don't know where she is currently.
Okay. And now I don't know who this person is. I wrote the notes down, Calatrax, but Hog wouldn't know who this is. I'm gonna lean over and ask for clarification. You know what? No, I'm not gonna ask right now in front of the dragonkin. I'll ask in Orcish to Vaga. Do you know of this character? Of who he speaks?
No idea, my friend.
So
That's good though, right? There's good information, right?
it's wonderful, wonderful. I appreciate it. We really appreciate it. There's just one tiny, tiny little problem. You seem like you know who some of us in this room are. And I don't know if we can let you go now that you do.
I don't know who any of you all are. We were just going about a job that went terribly wrong.
Because the information about some of the people in this room, if it would ever get out, I mean,
I wasn't even in this room. What do you mean?
Vaga, what do you think?
I do not wish to stain the floors of my yurt, but we can do it outside.
Hey, look, we don't have to do anything. I will do whatever you all need, and I'll disappear. If you could just let me run into the waste, I'll be gone. I'll just disappear. You'll never see me
I got
again.
a better idea. And I want to grab Hog kind of like by the hand and kind of tug him to have him walk with me like to the other corner of the room real quick and kind of like yank him to come down to my height.
Okay.
Trevor's on mute.
I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. I'll go with you.
And I'll try to stay as quiet as I possibly can, of course, so that at least a dragonkin can't hear us. You said you had questions when you first came to the glen with Vaga. I don't know what they were all about, but if there's anything regarding details of this city, maybe we can use them to get close to the mayor. I don't know.
We do need to find out what this mayor is up to, because it can't just be that he's simply ill. Something is going on.
Oh, that? yeah, that was me. That was my doing. I'll explain.
Something.
Okay. I'll explain later. No. Needless to say, he understands the meaning of cutting taxes in half. That's all. But maybe this guy can. I don't know if he was working with Carl already. Maybe he can go back. We can send him back with a false report. I don't know.
So far, I've trusted Vaga because of our kinship, and I trust you because you saved our lives. I will tell you as plainly as I can that I stand for good. I have no ulterior motives in my quest. So whatever we can do to protect the Crag and to find out anything more about this, any motions to the sheepskin, that is what we will do.
All right.
I will defer to your decision.
All right, sounds good. And I'll turn around and we'll walk back over. We're gonna let you go.
Okay.
You're gonna do one thing for us.
Anything.
You keep an eye on the man. Anything changes, anything moves, he breathes the wrong direction. You make sure Vaga knows. If this Duchess, whatever she's name is, Caliente, whatever, if she comes into the city, you make sure we're aware of it prior to her arrival.
100%. I will let you know.
I'll reach around and take one of my daggers and cut the ropes that are holding them, let them get up, and then I'll pull out Crag art and give it to him, flip it to him. That's for you. There's more of that if you keep doing your job right. You said you work for pay, right?
Yes, of course.
All right.
Now,
All right.
of course, if you were to say the wrong things or give off the wrong impression, and I sort of motion to Izzy, like, we have ways of knowing. Think of it as micromanagement.
I understand. May
Now,
I?
where the wolves come.
And he books it. He just runs. And he is gone.
So after that, Milo will kind of turn around. So, Hog, to answer your earlier question about the mayor, what have you heard since you got here, since you came to the city?
I'll relay the information we got last week at Pelly's. I think I just learned that he was sick, right? I kept asking, can I visit the mayor, and they kept telling me no, and I feel like that's all I knew. But should I do a roll
They had
for it?
mentioned something called the Reckoning.
Oh, right, okay.
They said something called the Reckoning had gotten a hold of the mayor recently. And of the halflings, they were like, yeah, you probably should talk to Vaga about it. But the dragonkin were very tight-lipped about it, as though they didn't want to give any additional publicity to the incident.
Okay. The mayor is Dragonkin.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I'm the Reckoning. Let's just say I go around righting wrongs that have been done to the halfling people. And Cartax was pinching pockets for too many people. So I removed half his legs since he said that, halflings weren't good enough. So I brought him down to our size, let him, just kind of see how life is down here.
Hog looks almost amused, but keeps his. You have a strong sense of justice. I honor that.
Thanks.
Then you are a man of mercy. It is still, so am I, but it is still to be said whether our allies, and looks around the room, are men of mercy or men of leverage.
In this world, no, not a problem. In this world, you kind of got to use what you got. It's the Crag, man. It eats you or you eat it.
And Hog smiles and nods, and he holds a sort of medallion close to his chest and squeezes it tightly, and then lets go and walks over to the others.
I start preparing cots or just places for everyone.
Sure. You have a couple of bands. You think they probably may have to use some of theirs, just because you do facilitate some people who come here every once in a while who need a place to rest. But you only have a couple, and they're halfling-sized, right? So you make some space for them to use some of their bedrolls, though. It's more than fine. So, Milo, you have a pretty good spot, but the other two will have to make their own.
Before we bed down, if I'm assuming we're probably heading towards bedding down for the night right now. Before that happens, I want to call Izzy back to me, or I want to at least touch base telekinetically with her to see what she's done, and then just let her know it's bedtime. So if she wants to come back, she can. If she wants to stay out, it's okay.
She's going to curl around the fire at the roof.
Okay.
And just keep an eye out for tonight. That thing that they said about somebody else coming spooked her a little bit, so she's just going to keep watch.
Cool.
If we're getting ready for bed, then Hog is going to keep a close eye on his sheepskin wrapped item.
Okay.
How far into the evening are we right now?
It's like 11.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll look at the thing. I'll look at the thing first, like when we wake up in the morning.
Okay. You all begin to bed down for the evening. Milo, you dream a little. That numbing sensation in your tongue and eyes returns, but it is lighter and calmer than before. Everyone else, is anyone taking watches? Or are we going to let Izzy take watch for tonight?
I'll offer. Do you need me to take
I'll
watch,
let
or
them
is the
know.
dragon capable?
And I'll let them know that Izzy is watching too.
Okay.
So if they want to, they can rest for this first night.
Okay.
Then I think, considering wounds, Hog will take rest.
All right. Everyone else okay just going to sleep?
Yeah. My house is bunkered down. If anyone were to try to come in, they'd have to hack in, and we'd all wake up.
Definitely. Okay. So you all rest for the evening. Everyone, please give me a perception check with disadvantage. Please say your rolls again, everybody.
I got
8.
a 9.
Braum get a 6.
I got a 10 on Milo.
Okay. And give me a perception check for our Izzy friend, who is not at disadvantage.
Are we at disadvantage because we're sleeping, just to clarify?
Yeah, we'll find out.
Perception is wisdom, right?
Yes.
10.
Okay. As you all are sleeping throughout the night, occasionally you do hear distantly again the howling of wolves. But that's all. You all get your full rest. You get all your spell slots and hit points back. If you have any hit dice that you have used, you can recover half of them. You all are level 3, so you will get 1 back.
Izzy's, it was a +3. I'm sorry, so it was 9 + 3. It was 12 for Izzy. Sorry.
Still insufficient.
Okay.
But yes, that's fine. It will be one. You all get 1 of your hit dice back, but all of your hit points come back, and all your spell slots are back. Everybody's back up to full. It's only your hit dice that may not be at full at this point. Milo, as you are beginning to wake, I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Am I just clicking wisdom on the sheet?
It should be under
saving throws.
Saving throws, yep. Because you are proficient.
Where is... Oh, there it is. Wisdom. 21.
Excellent. As you wake up, you begin to feel that axe. And it is not a consciousness that invades you. It is a morbid curiosity that seems to pull you towards it. And you, having dealt with many extraplanar things, you recognize this is probably because you are the first, maybe in a long time, to have read it. But it is enticing in a way that makes you take pause before going at it again.
You mentioned earlier it said open near the hilt. Is it like at the base of the shaft, or?
Mm-hmm. There's a cube at the end of the shaft.
And it translated to open, basically.
Yeah.
Before I let them know or try to open that, can I kind of read over? You said it was a poem up the side of it or something like that?
Crawling up the handle and onto the square that is holding the two axe blades, there is writing all the way up and down it. And what I will do, Milo, is first I am going to share this handout with you.
Okay.
And then you will be able to see it. And then afterwards, I will let everyone be able to see it if you choose to read it out loud to everyone.
Okay, just to be clear, as we were going to sleep, he was Hog was sleeping with this sheepskin like close by, keeping a careful watch as he slept.
Yes, I'm assuming this is the morning after.
Oh, morning after. Okay.
Yeah, if you are allowing him to see it. If you're not allowing,
I trust him. Yeah, I'll allow him to see it.
Okay, but yeah, I'm assuming this is after everyone's woken up. You've gotten food a little bit.
Cool.
And you're ready to kind of dive into this cautiously. Milo is taking his time. But Milo, I'm going to share this with you, if that's all right. And there we go. Now you should see it pop up under your thing off to the right, right?
There it is.
Okay. Could you please read it to the group? If you choose to. Or you can read it yourself. If you scroll down, it should have the words actually there.
No, I see it. It's just, I'm blind and all that jazz. So
there should be the picture, but underneath I have the actual text.
Oh, got you. Okay.
So you don't have to squint trying to look at the picture. That's more
Gotcha.
for.
I'm going to take a second to just kind of read through this as I'm listening to whatever anyone else is talking about currently while I'm going through.
Yeah. As he's doing it, you all are still eating. Vaga, you still have some more fish that you're passing out. Did anybody want to talk to Braum about his reaction? Or are you all going to let that rock?
No, I was. Vaga is curious about these newcomers who seem to know a lot. I go to Braum. So I have a good understanding of what Hog here is looking for. How did you meet up with him?
I don't actually know. We were just kind of in the city together. Was that part of my backstory, Bellies?
Yes, I did send you that. You were assigned as his bodyguard.
JK. Orders. I am here to protect Hog.
So how is it you know so much about the dragonkin? That name escaped us, but you seem to know it very well.
I'm familiar with the fight.
Were you there? Oh wait, sorry. Was that out of character? Would I have known about that fight? Probably not.
They mentioned the fight, didn't they?
Milo knew kind of about it. It would have been up to Milo whether to mention it to everyone. You know about it. Vaga did not.
Yeah. So scrap that. That was. So the fight, you fought the dragonkin before?
Yes. And so did my family. I'll just kind of like reach back and tap my shield.
Okay.
Did you acquire that from the dragonkin? To Braum.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
wow, fellas, that face though.
Because I know, and I don't know how Bob is going to answer that calmly, but that's up to you.
I don't either.
There's probably been a lot of silence between Hog and Braum as they were traveling. Lots of just grunts, like I said before.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the first time he's asked.
And Braum, you've noticed, Braum does not talk much at all, really.
No.
He's a very he has protected you very, very well the whole time you've been during your trip. But when it comes to like stuff about him, I would say that outburst that he had where he punched the dude is probably the most emotion you've seen in his face the whole time at the mention of that woman's name.
And I heard the name, right? Calitrax?
Yes,
Okay.
name is Calitrax.
So just kind of as a side, while they're talking, some of there are certain words that I'm going to be saying to myself, but they might be audible if someone were paying any attention to me at this point in time while I'm reading through this.
Sure.
Do you want me to say which words, or you want me to send you those words and then
send them to me? But we'll wait. I want to see how this scene plays out.
Me too. So I'll sit kind of staring off into space, playing with a signet ring on my left hand. Thinking, she killed my brother. That is all.
This Calitrax?
Yes.
Huh. Why? Was this during the war, or was this her own ulterior motive? Sorry, it's a weird thing to try to describe.
I know. That's why I'm like, I'm waiting to see how you're going to handle this.
I don't know how to describe what happened.
I know it may trouble you to think of your sister? Brother? Sister? You just
Brother.
said sister. Brother. Your brother's death.
Did I say sister?
Did you? Oh, I don't know. Oops. The recording will
No,
know
you're
if we retcon immediately. I know it troubles you to think of your sibling's death, but I think any information we can share might help us, assuming we are on the same side. And he sort of glares at, not glares, but looks intently. If I may be transparent, I fight for mercy, for honor. I know honor is lost to many. Sometimes honor comes in second place to survival. But I believe if we can protect the people of the Crag, then we will be doing what is right. Do you care about the people in the Crag?
some of them. I wish for the dragons to die.
Many do, and this is why there was war. Now there is no war. I, somewhat ironically, would gladly fight to keep it that way. So, if I may ask again, what are you fighting for?
Revenge.
Against the dragonkin.
Yes.
So it is from them that you acquired this shield.
Do you know how the old war ended?
I recall.
Are you familiar with the trials after the war?
Peleus, would I be familiar with the trials?
No, I don't think
No.
any of you would have ever heard of those.
Solemnly shakes his head.
Vaga may. No, I don't think any of you know. I think it was just because I don't think any of them are military personnel, Braum. I think it's just you.
Not even me.
Nah, you weren't in the military.
Well, it's correct me at any point if I am incorrect in what I explain here. But
I will, but you're doing a really good job. Actually, go for it. Because that's probably where you should start. You're totally right.
so, after the war, there were factions that met for, we'll call them honorable duels to the death. My brother was one of our best fighters. Never lost a duel. While there were fights to the death, they were honorable. However, unbeknownst to my brother, there was a fight that was set up between him and this witch. She poisoned her mace and killed my brother. And that was the end. Everybody turned and left. Nobody asked questions. Nobody helped. The whole world turned their back on us. I will kill her. And then I go back to eating my food.
Then I will honor your... I will honor that. And I will see when the time comes if I step into the fight as well.
Thank you.
Then I'll go back to eating my food too.
Do you, Milo, want to go ahead without relaying, or do you want to wait? You're on mute.
I was saying, I think literally my hand is moving on its own at this point as I'm going through this. Question, would I know regarding the two gods, would I know the correlation? Would that be something I'd have knowledge of?
Give me a history check.
Okay.
Because you know one, right?
Right. It's gonna be a 10.
No.
Okay. So yeah, I feel like it's probably my hand's probably just moving on its own, and flip the switch.
As you all are talking, Milo's hand drifts towards the bottom cube on the axe. And when he grasps it, he begins to try to pull it open. But Milo, it does not open.
Okay. Can I
Is it a strength thing, or
Can I see this?
does it feel stuck? Does it feel like it has moved, or?
It doesn't feel like it gives at all.
Would I see this happening? Should I roll a perception? Or can I?
Not yet.
Not
We'll
yet?
see.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it doesn't move.
Do I get the idea that it has something to do with the actual writing?
You think it may be triggered by something? Something may trigger it, but you're not sure what that might be.
And does it look like a pull, or is it a turning?
Very strong magical sense from this thing. Like there's a lot of arcane abjuration that is keeping it involved in something, but you're not really sure what it is. But you're thinking that whatever it is, it's not being triggered right now.
Okay. And when I read that, I read it. I wanted the item to hear me, if no one else.
Sure.
As I read it, did that cause any type of an effect?
It did not.
Okay. I'm gonna look at Hog. I'm just gonna watch him while he's eating right now, and look at the axe. And hey, Hog. Who'd you say, or where'd you say you got this from?
Tresgar. An ally of mine. A contact.
Did he say where he got it from?
He did not. As far as I know. Meta.
He did not.
He did not. Okay.
This is. I mean, I could be wrong, but this feels like it's got some very dwarven origins.
Quick question: Can I, with when Hog's talking about it, can I make sure he's not lying?
Give me insight. Tell me what you got.
Oh, sorry, 13.
13. You wouldn't be able to tell.
Like this whole thing is it's like a what they call it, a ballad? Yeah, like a gladiatorial ballad or something. Just like
The Song of Battle.
well, directions of where this might be a key. I don't know if this is the key or this came from where it's talking about. I don't know. It's
On the spectrum of directions to instructions. Where might
it's
this?
a little bit of both. I'm kind of confused. Like there's one line here. It says, "At the peak of the creek, at the crest of the mountains that meet where Tormag ends." Well, like Tormag is the river, and it only ends it goes through the mountains.
Have the people of the Crag, seeing as I am somewhat new to the Crag, have the people here established dwellings or explored upwards? That's at the northern end of the river.
I mean, New Horning's over there, but Filson's is kind of near the base-ish. But
Ends would be the south.
huh. Okay. And then they've got like something about a golden bridge. Isn't that the one north of, and I'm looking at Vaga, isn't that the bridge north of Almanac?
There is a bridge north of Almanac. I do not believe it is made of gold, though.
What if it was like a metaphor, like it was like a, I don't know, like a payment or a salvation or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas, but because then there's another line that's talking about like giants bridges and.
Well, we know that the gnomes are in the Upper Isles.
Do you want to read the whole thing out to them?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and, like, after he says this, I'll go ahead and read the whole thing.
Like, the gnomes are in the Upper Isles. I believe something may be up there.
Oh, okay.
Place.
Well, here, this is because I'm sorry, I'm kind of everywhere with this. It's been a long time since I've seen something like this. That's kind of threw me off.
Runes? Could you read it again?
Not so much the runes. I'm used to seeing those, just because of Meighsor. Well, you all met. Oh, Meighsor is He's my deity. He's an archfey, ice prince, if you will. Mort, the polar bear you saw earlier, is his servant. He's the messenger. So Mort brings me information, and he brings me and Vaga information, and but Meighsor he's the reason why I'm still alive right now. Honestly, this axe looks like it might have it has something to do with him, and I don't know. Here, I'll just read it, and see if any of this makes sense to you all. Take heed to you who hold Mehron's axe, foremost of Modron's forgotten. In time, you'll know this woeful blade and the pain that it's begotten. In the lurid light of the golden eye, where beams of sunrise been. I'll see here. At the peak of the creek, at the crest of the mountains that meet where Tormag ends. May glass be the window and metal the key. May you enter the sleep of passageways 3. See here. May you learn that secret to living eternally. Lie not in lichdom, but in history. Beware the eye that never blinks. Beware the golden ridge. But most of all, till end of time, beware the giant's bridge. Okay, here's the part I was talking about. Meighsor and Orcus watch and wait to see what may. Shall we rise to cold dark night, or at last descend to day? I'm at a loss. I never knew Meighsor and Orcus had connections. Vaga, you heard anything about that?
Vaga, if you would like, and everybody, if you can as well, because I think this is going to be a good spot to look. You can give me history checks. You can also give me religion checks if you would like. You can also give me arcana checks as well. Any of those will work. Vaga, you are in your study, so whichever one you choose to roll, you will have advantage.
Cool. I will roll religion then. And non-natural.
You said what?
Should I also roll one for Milo or no?
Yes, please roll for Milo.
Okay, well. I'll also roll religion. You said religion and arcana?
Religion, arcana, or history.
Pick one? Okay.
Vaga got a non-natural 20.
Excellent.
Fellas, with what I'm aware of with the axe, do I get advantage?
If you choose history, yes.
Okay, Hog rolled a 16 with religion.
Okay.
Braum got a 12 with history.
All right. Milo, you've not really been doing too much historical studies. A lot of what you've been given has been through direct contact, right? Your life, your experiences, not really so much from book learning, right? So a lot of these things are new to you. They're ideas that are new to you, and they're not things you've really come across before. And so as you mention these things out loud, the rest of the room begins to really feel the weight of what's going on. Vaga, immediately you turn to some of your books and you start looking up some names. Immediately also, Hog, with your religion check and your particular study, you recognize a couple things. First, lichdom. Lichdom is the ancient practice of consuming souls to live eternally. It is heavy necromantic power, and it is what some ancient necromancers wish to achieve, is lichdom. It is binding your soul to an object, to a phylactery of some kind, and then feeding it other souls over time to maintain life eternal. You know that is probably the ultimate goal of the Order of the Undead, is lichdom. Braum, you would know a couple of the names. Mehron is the name that seemed to be associated with I don't know how to say that without giving some stuff away. I will write to you what that is. But you recognize the name Mehron. Let's see. Let's do that. And you would also recognize, and this is more public information, you would recognize the phrase the Giant's Bridge. The Giant's Bridge is known to be a second bridge that is rumored to exist along the wastes on the bank of Tormod. The first bridge, the Bridge of Bouts, is the one that is between Messapeak and Yornal. It's up north. It's the main and only used bridge that goes across the River Tormod. It is an ancient and old bridge. It was built before anyone else here got there. And people assumed that it was Dwarven make, the Bridge of Bouts. It got the name the Bridge of Bouts because it is a highly contested area, and many times people fought along that bridge to gain control of a main access point across the River Tormod. Tormod is known to be a violent river. It is not kind to people who try to cross it on its frozen, icy places. We know for some reason south of the river, south of the Bridge of Bouts, the River Tormod is a lot more violent. It has claimed many lives. And in times where it should have been frozen over completely, as people attempted to cross it, it would break and take souls with it. That is why most fishing south of the Bridge of Bouts is not going well. We'll say that. You assume that's why Almanac is not a very strong or thriving town, is because its main attempt is fishing, but there is no, it's very dangerous to try to catch fish this far south. But at the same time, you would have heard of this rumor of Giant's Bridge. Giant's Bridge is known to be a legend of a second bridge built by the dwarves that no one has ever been able to locate out in the wastes south of the river, south of the Bridge of Bouts. So people think it exists, and if it was ever found, it would make for the basis for new towns, new trade, and a whole lot more activity between the two. But no one has been able to locate the Giant's Bridge, and their attempts to do so have ended with their demise. Finally, Vaga, as you turn back to the group, the name that rings out to you the most in this communication is the name Orcus. Orcus is not a name often spoken. It is an ancient name. It is the name of one of the princes of the abyss. It is a entity known to breathe and live on death. It is a powerful creature. It is usually depicted as a skull of a yak or a creature of some, like a grazing creature of some kind, is depicted as the skull of that with these two massive horns that come from the side of it. It is unspeakable in intent and is used as a patron to perhaps the dwarves. You have heard in the past, and this is your studies that led you here, because you have been studying your own involvement with the undead, we will say, but that study has led you to know that there were rumors that the ancient dwarves dabbled in attempting to connect to Orcus. And no one knows whether or not they were successful, but they also do know that there are no more dwarves, right? But this creature of undeath is known to be almost a force of nature. It is a pestilence on the land. It is the corruption of all natural life. It is a demonic entity that would give no regard to who paid patronage to it, but instead has its own goals of eternal and absolute undeath for all living things. If there are any other things specifically you all would like to ask about, you're more than welcome to. But from your checks, that is what you have pulled from the axe.
And
Would
then
you send that out to us as well, just so that we can kind of...
Yeah, I tried to write down as much as I could, but it's a lot of scribbles. So if you sum it out, I have an idea of what I would know.
Write additional notes into that that document so all of you all can see it. But I will do that later.
But where can we see the document? Can we see the document currently, though?
Yes, you should. I have enabled it for everybody's access. You should be able to look in your journal on Roll20 and see Mehron's axe as one of the handouts.
Now, also, as I'm finishing reading the poem or reading the thing, I want to let everybody know that it says open at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And that I tried to pull the cube where I was like, and I don't. This part says open. I don't know if it's a pull, it's a twist. I can't get it to budge. I mean, I don't know if one of you guys want to take a look at it. It's bigger.
Leave it alone.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Whatever you say, Vaga.
Just looking at Vaga, like, I don't show fear, but it's clearly like I am strained and like very intent on, like, I haven't looked up from everything that I'm reading. I'm just like, stop, don't mess with it, leave it alone, don't summon Orcus right now.
Not in my house.
And then I start describing. I start to go into like all that I know about like the undead.
That
Not all I know about the undead, but everything that I gained.
About Orcus?
Yeah.
Okay.
As he describes it, Milo.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Sounds exactly like that dream, man.
Right.
Not that I know about the dream, but
so would I have told him? Would I have told Vaga before that I've had that dream?
No, that happened that night.
Okay, so I've never had that before.
You have not.
Okay. So then I will convey to the room the dream I had. After hearing the explanation that he just gave me of what Orcus looks like,
Mm-hmm.
I will explain the dream that I had the other night to everybody. That must have been Orcus. I mean, I've never seen it before. I've never seen the guy. And, I mean, I know I follow Meighsor, and it's got both of their names together, like they're both of them watching and waiting.
Was this a vision of the past or the future? Or the present?
For my understanding, Pelly, this was my past, right? This is something I actually lived through.
Understanding you had never lived through that.
Okay.
But it did not seem like, it definitely felt like the past, mostly because there are no dwarves.
Right. So, for what Hog was asking, what Trevor was asking, that would be the response I'd give you.
based on the description of his about the layout of the area, could we do some sort of like a personal history check to know if in our travels at any point we've passed through an area that resembles what he relayed to us?
In the dream?
Yeah.
No. Not at all. It would not have seemed familiar to any of you.
Anybody want to share what they learned to the group?
We should go. Was your friend north or south? when he came to you with this axe?
He actually, I don't think I know this, Apelles.
You-
All I know is that I was traveling with Braum after having met.
Yeah, you all had that conversation in New Hornring.
Okay, so I've been traveling south.
So north, so traveling south.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we traveled south to Almanac, and then we came back north from Almanac here.
Yes, because where you are right now is just a little bit north of Almanac, not even a day, right?
Okay.
And between Almanac and I would say Mesa Peak is about 3 days travel. So you all are just north of Almanac, basically still in Almanac at this point. But you came from New Hornring.
And per history, I'm thinking general history right now. The dwarves were, I know the gnomes were in the north. Were the dwarves supposedly in the north or in the southern mountains?
History says the dwarves lived everywhere in the entire Crag, but there are no more of them. So you never got to ask.
Okay.
I'll also relay the information I got about lichdom. And where was it mentioned in this?
About halfway line up Lichdom, but in history.
But where the eye that never blinks.
I am familiar with the creation of the dragonkin and the lich. But there were other necromancers in these lands.
You're
Maybe
familiar
some-
with what?
When the lick and the dragon mated and had the dragonkin.
Yeah, that would be public knowledge. That is where the white dragon folk came from. Down south, before they got here, a long time ago, there was an ancient white dragon and a lich that had a fling, and the result of their union was the creation of the dragonkin as we know them today. The lich disappeared; he left, and the dragon was slain by a group of adventurers. Afterwards, the white dragon kin that were still left, they fled persecution up north until they got to the Crag and were able to settle down and people stopped chasing them there. That's how the dragon kin eventually showed up in the Crag, was that.
When you mentioned dragonkin, I just spit on the floor.
Yep. Now, it's
There were-
been many
there-
generations since, and the lich evil blood kind of has thinned in the dragonkin, so many of them now have not really any traces of that kind of evil, but at the same time, the origins of it definitely were.
There were other necromancers in these lands, some to fight blood. Perhaps our answers lie there.
Question for DM.
Mm.
When the sun rises,
East.
still east, so it would be coming from Marthok when it rose.
Other direction.
Other
Marthok.
direction.
Marthok is to the west.
West, okay.
So east of the River Tormag would be
Silo, Vornal, that area.
Yeah.
That side. Okay.
Urinal, Philo, that side.
Okay. That's not. I was thinking about the mountains, like lurid light of the golden eye, where the beams of sunrise bend. I was thinking sun coming over the mountain range,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. The mountain ranges are to the north and south, not east and west. So that really wouldn't affect anything in regards to that.
Well,
But imagine being in the mountains.
Right. So wherever it is in the mountains, wherever this is talking
Maybe.
about. Now, I will say this, and I will let them know about my conversation. Well, Vaga may already know about my conversation. The Forgotten, the Forlorn, and the what's the other one, Apelles?
the fooled.
The Fooled. Would I have talked to him about that by now?
That's up to you.
Okay. I'm gonna bring that up. Meighsor says that he's looking for those three things: the forgotten, the forlorn, and the fool. And in doing so, I will come to find a way to bring Meighsor honor. This is my assumption. Do what he needs to do by ridding the Crag of harmful beings, including the dragonkin. This axe right here, it says it's foremost of Moradin's forgotten, like it's his treasure.
Religion Vaga. Moradin is the god of the dwarves. You would know that.
So,
where does it say Moradin?
First line, second line.
So if it's talking about Moradin's forgotten, it would be talking about the dwarves, you would think.
So
I was going to guess that the forgotten was the people from the past, the dead, so they'd be forgotten.
Well, the only reason I was thinking something, it says, "Take heed to you who hold Mehron's axe, foremost of Moradin's forgotten." It's basically saying it seems like the axe is a part of Moradin's forgotten, whatever it was. I mean, it could be like an armory. It could, you know what I mean? Like maybe this was a part of a battle outfit or something.
Perhaps Mehron was their king.
Yeah, or like a ceremonial, or something like. Does the axe look like something that's battle tested, like that's been in fights, or is it ceremonial?
Give me an investigation check.
Okay.
All of us or just him?
Just him. Because he's looking deeply at the axe. I guess roll with advantage because they're helping you look over it.
And they explain like lichdom, right?
Yeah.
And everything. Because my theory on this is that during, you're explaining the lichdom, or during one of the explanations that was shared, they talked about they could tie themselves to an item and then quote unquote sacrifice lives to it. What easier way to sacrifice a life to an item than it being a weapon itself?
15, Billy.
15. You would notice a couple things. First, it is definitely ornamental.
Okay.
Doesn't look like it's made for combat. And yet, there is dried blood on the axe.
Not JK. Maybe it wasn't in a fight, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't execute people with it, right? I mean,
well, it says open. It could contain something.
Another thing, the dried blood, you notice, is not as old as dwarves would be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
it's been used recently.
JK, I know my question got through.
Hey, Hog, how long have you had this again?
Oh.
Hey, Hog, how long have you had this again?
Oh, sorry. It's been, again, sort of defer to Apelles. How long have I been traveling? Like a few weeks?
I'd say about a week and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. Not even a fortnight. There's something that I've noticed in
looks
this
maybe 2 weeks old.
So, sorry, say again?
I'd say blood looks maybe 2 weeks old.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll let them know that.
Something else in this passage. Wait. When you mentioned the lich, which one's the lich was that Orca? Which would I have known that? I must admit I got a little confused in what my character would know and wouldn't know. So I don't want to jump to the conclusions if I wouldn't know them.
Everybody's sharing all information that they know, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody's keeping secret. So
I'm not.
Okay.
I didn't share what you sent me, but that's because you didn't share it publicly to begin with.
I know.
Okay.
Everything that I said is public information.
This lich who collects souls, would the river that claims the lives of those who fall into its violent rapids in the south, would the river not also be a vessel for taking souls to this dark, hidden bridge that is supposedly down there? Maybe this sounds like a place we shouldn't tread, but
Yes,
seems
beware
that
the
is-
Giant's Bridge sounds like a bad place to go. Sounds like a clear warning.
I agree, it sounds like a terrible place, but I think that may be our best hope to find Morden's Forgotten.
You would know the rumors would say the bridge is not at the end of River Tormac,
Okay.
but it's somewhere between where the river ends and the Bridge of Bouts.
What it sounds like to me is that we need to all signs are pointing to following this river till its end. Glass be the window and metal the key. Metal is uncommon, but he holds up the axe. Could this be a key?
Do you hold it with your hand?
You know what? I don't think that would be in character. No, I wouldn't hold it with my hand because that wouldn't be in character. The whole time he's been holding it in this sheepskin, and
Yeah.
he's been really careful with it, so I don't think he'd grasp it, but I'm motioning to this axe.
Wait, but I've been holding it.
You have been.
No effect.
You rolled a 23 on your wisdom saving throw.
Got you. Okay. I was going to say, I was like, wait a minute. I've been holding this thing. Okay.
Yeah.
With glass being the window and metal the key, I think if this axe is the key, what would be the glass, unless they mean the ice?
Could be the ice, or it could be something that we won't find until we get down to the end of this river. But
We should go south, by the river's edge.
I agree that we need to go south, but should we? Well,
Yeah, I'm with the big guy. I start wrapping it back up and hand it back over to Hog.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Do we have
Maybe
any
we
other
should-
stops to make before we head out in this direction?
We could get some supplies from the shopkeep.
Why did
You
say it
know-
like that?
You know, I really think we should try a store. Might be under new management. You never know.
I need my drink.
That and we've got a informant still too. We got to keep that in mind. So whatever we're doing,
If he is to be trusted.
yeah,
It would be good
We
to
should
check
kill him.
in.
yeah. But I can't. I think he knows who I am, and I don't want Vaga to get in trouble either, just by association, and you guys too. I mean, I've
We
done
should
some.
definitely kill him.
I knew I liked him for a reason. I
Braum
knew
is a
I.
man of strong opinion.
No, I think he'll be more important to us if he can let us if we can get any type of a heads up about that Duchess, whatever her name was,
How?
coming into town. I mean, it'll give us a warning. They said she's bringing bronze knights. Those guys are dangerous.
Yeah. I think Milo would know for sure.
With my military background, would I know what a...
Pretty sure you would know as well, Braum. Bronze Knights are known as a mercenary force that exists within the dragonkin. A lot of the dragonkin were not very industrious people, right? Like they didn't have a lot of things that they generated themselves, but they were very good because of their natural cold resistance of just being out in the wastes and surviving regardless. The Bronze Knights are something that came maybe 5 to 7 years after the war ended. And they are a mercenary force of former soldiers that used to be in the war that didn't really have anything to do, but didn't want to be destructive in a way, I guess you could say. Like they wanted to not be just people, bandits, right? People that were just going around killing people. So the Bronze Knights were formed as a way to kind of have something to do, right? To get paid to actually do mercenary work if needed, be guards, for trade. That's kind of their big thing, is that they guard a lot of trade, but they are known to be ruthless, and whatever you hired them to do, they will do without question, right? Like that's their kind of motto. But at the same time, they're not necessarily evil. They probably would consider themselves as a neutral force. They do good, they do evil, but just whoever it is that pays. And they have gotten their name because they have full suits of bronze armor, which is really rare, but is something that is from the amount of money that they get, right, from all of the work that they do. That's why money is first above everything else, because in order to keep or upkeep bronze armor, you have to have a lot of crack hearts. So if she's coming with bronze knights, one, that means she's got bankroll, whoever this is. And two, that's not something that you all would probably want to face with your pants down.
We should go south.
I'm in.
South it is.
Now, there is... I'm going to grab one piece of information for you all before you all go forward, just because I think it's important. You all did earlier say that it is on the east side of the river.
Okay. Yeah. This river is this.
But we're on the west side, so we have to cross the bridge.
Well,
West side.
well, there's a bridge south.
The Bridge of Legend. Would you bank on this bridge being there? Pun intended. Sorry, that was out of character.
That was good. I'm not gonna lie. That was good. I think we should. I think we should. I think the bridge is there. I really do.
If my question is trust that bridge or fight the Bronze Knights, I vote the bridge.
Well, you don't know where the Bronze Knights are coming from. You just know that she said there were Bronze Knights. So, like, they said that she was coming with Bronze Knights, but you don't know where she's coming from. So, but that's up to you all. I will.
If she is coming with Bronze Knights, she is going to try to meet up with Carl, and so go to Almanac, which is south of here. If the bridge is supposedly on the east bank of the river, we are on the west bank. We need to go north, cross the bridge, and then head south.
The bridge would the bridge not be on both sides? At the same time, if the bridge is to be bewared, then maybe we should not expect to cross it once we find it. Or maybe we should not expect... maybe we should plan to find it first before we plan to cross it. And in that sense, we should approach from the... Wait, what says it's on the east? Why is the east important?
It says it's east of Tormog, where the river ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So...
No, at the peak of the creek, at the crest of the mountains that meet where Tormag ends. I was asking east to west regarding the sun traveling.
Yes.
Because I was talking about in the lurid light of golden eye where beams of sunrise bend, which is right before that line. And it says at the peak of the creek, at the crest of the mountains that meet where Tormag ends.
I think what he means is it's on the east side, so we should just go east.
Okay. Then we cross
cross
the Bridge of Bouts.
I think what it sounds like you all are doing, because I feel like you have the location right. It's at the east side at the bottom of Tormag.
Right.
But that's kind of what you all are thinking right now. The question, though, is are you all going to go north and take the Bridge of Bouts, or are you going to go south and try to find Giant's Bridge?
Oh,
I think that's where we are overall, right?
Because we're in Peak right now. No?
No, you all are in just a little bit north of Almanac.
Oh,
You're
okay.
right next to it.
Yeah,
It's up to you all which way you all want to go. I guess that's the question. Are you all going to
2 days to go north.
how far of a trip
Cross
is
the
it
bridge
to
out.
just get to mess? Like in theory, if we
2
were to
days.
end up on this, this location, the other side of the river, how many days of travel would that be to end up?
It depends on where you're trying to go. The known route, right, would be up to Mesopeak, across the Bridge of Bouts into the
Yorno?
Ornal, and then down south through Leron, right? Down, keep going south. So that path would be 3 days to Mesopeak. Mesopeak and Urinal are pretty much one place overall, but then it would be maybe a week till you get to the mountain from Urinal down south to the lower Riles.
Versus if we just went south and looked for the bridge south?
Right.
If you went south and looked for the bridge to go across, you would probably it would probably be however long it takes to find the bridge, right?
Right.
But then once you made it across, it would be less than 3 days till you got to the mountains, right? You probably could stop at Leron or south of Leron or north of Leron, depending on where the bridge lets out.
Hmm.
And then 2 days to the mountain or 2 or 3 days down there. But that's up to you all, whichever way you'd like to go. It'll be faster, right? But that is assuming, 1, the bridge is real. 2, you all can find it. 3, you all can cross it without dying.
I was gonna say there are more places to re-up if we take the long route
Yeah,
than take the short route.
I agree with Milo. Then
You do have to worry about supplies. You are crossing across the wastes.
Right.
Like, even if whatever happens at the bridge, you all survive it. If you lose your supplies in whatever happens, you could die. Right? So having more supply stops are there. But on the other side, that is the known route, and you are under the impression that someone is looking for you. Right? So that's kind of what you all are weighing back and forth. Do you go the known route, or do you try the unknown route? The known route, people are looking for you. The unknown route has a lot of question marks. But you all will have to decide which way you choose to go.
I was waiting for that. I was so waiting for that. So what's the 4?
I vote we go south.
All right.
I'm going to say anything under 10 go down, anything above 10 go up. So that's my vote.
All right.
But at the end of the day, I go with Hog.
So
regardless of what I want.
While we're doing this,
just too many question marks, and I keep coming back to this line in the passage: "Beware the giant's bridge." Yes, we may need to cross it eventually, but do we plan? Do we make our plans around finding it and then crossing it, or do we cross the bridge we know?
The thing is, whatever we're beware of, how old is this writing? Like, what's an approximate age of this weapon? Do we know?
Before the first humans settled in the Crag.
So
thousands of years ago.
Okay. So unless it's a dragon, chances are it's dead.
Here's my question. I got a question. If we go south, is this general knowledge? If we go south, the River Tormag, is that where it feeds out or in to the mountains?
It flows down. It goes from north to south, right?
Hey.
So if you were to try to cross it south, you would know that the more south on the River Tormag you are, the more dangerous it seems to be. But that's
across here.
The reason I ask is because it says, "Beware the eye that never blinks."
Mm-hmm.
The eye of a river would be one that never blinks.
I vote we go north and then cross the Bridge of Bouts. It's we do risk being found, but we can. That is a danger we know. If we go south, there are too many dangers we don't know.
I
Yeah,
ultimately believe our destination is north, so I agree. Let's go north.
All right, so I got one final question. If we're going north, are we going north to go north for the sake of going to the top of the river? Or are we going north to cross to the east side? Because either way, once we cross over the bank, we got to decide if we're going north or south again.
We're going back south. We're going north up to the river, up to the bridge. What?
North to go south?
Yes.
Yes. We cross and then we head south.
Like a big
We are also assuming that the river Crag has been a consistent river for centuries and millennia.
Yeah.
We are assuming that. Yes.
Wherever we got to go, it's in a mountain. It clearly says something about passages 3 and something like that.
This will be a long journey.
All right.
Is everyone
Well,
do we get like fast travel?
I'm ready to travel right now. I don't know about everybody else.
Okay. You all gather some things. Vaga, you grab things from your hut, right? You grab supplies. My most important question, because now we're getting into the Crag in earnest, right? You all have been in a little town with a little bit of support, but now you are going to try to attempt to cross the wastes again. Rations. Where are you all in rations at the moment?
I have 2.
Okay.
I don't remember checking how many rations I
have an explorer's pack, whatever that has in it.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's
5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 5 water skins, 2 rations, a torch, a tinderbox, rope.
Dang.
Yeah.
Crowbar, hammer.
Yeah. A crowbar?
Yeah.
Sure.
What is
pigeon? You can take care of stuff, but that's in the explorer's pack.
The ancient dwarven crowbar.
Hey.
You have 2 rations, Milo. The rest of you probably have 5, I would say. Vaga, you're in your house. You can grab some extras.
Okay.
I would say at that point I'd say you could re-up Milo's so that you all are all at 5, and we can just start there. Does that sound fair?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Could you explain, because I've not played a game with rations or anything like that, could you kind of walk me through what I'm looking at?
Rations and water, basically, are the 2 things you're all looking for. Water in the Crag is not as hard to come by because of all of the snow.
Checks out.
Right? So water is not as big of a concern in the Crag, which is good news. Right? But on the other side of it, the water just pulled from the ground or from the ice can be toxic, right? It could have bacteria and pathogens in it. So you want to make sure you have good clean water that has been boiled. Boiling is difficult because wood is very scarce in the Crag.
And I offer my hand. If we're talking about this, I guess we can roleplay as we're saying all this stuff. I hold out my medallion that hangs around my neck, and I say that if we come across something we're not sure we can eat, then purification will not be a problem.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
We will have
that's
water.
Incredibly good news to you all.
I can drive anything. I mean, if we have a cart, I can drive anything.
Awesome. I mean,
anything on land.
This is good news.
You had to get away from situations many times.
Right.
You figured that out.
Like the getaway driver.
Having
about baby.
Having carts and things is difficult, but I don't think you all have any right now.
No, we don't have anything right now.
Sleigh. Let's go sleigh.
Sleigh.
We're gonna go sleighing. Don't you worry. We're sleighing lots of shit.
There you go.
That's you can do that, right? It is a thing. But I will say right now, you don't have those. The the next thing I would say is food. Really, one ration is a day's worth of food. Okay. So you know that from here going north is probably a day's worth of travel. I mean, not sorry, 3 days. 3 days to Mespeak from Almanac.
And you said we're about a day out already, right?
You're less than a day out right now.
Okay.
You all were pretty close because he could walk to Vaga's house that same night.
Okay.
So I don't think you're too far, but you are a little bit north. You are right. You're a little bit north of Almanac. But it'll be 3 days travel to Mespeak. Traveling is okay, right? You all can do it, but just make sure that basically, unless you have a way of warmth while you all are traveling, you'll be rolling versus the cold, and those are constitution checks per night, right? You have some fire. That's good. But you do need, like, wood, right? Something to
get wood on the way. I have axes.
Yeah. Right now, you could grab some. You'd have to go back to the grove, I think. But I would say, Vaga, you probably have a couple of days' worth of firewood stored. So if you're planning on being on a trip for a while and you're not coming back here, you can probably just pack up some of your firewood. I would say that'd be enough for about 3 days worth, right? That would get you all to Mespeak, but you probably should re-up and resupply when you all get there. Traveling with low rations in the wastes of the crag is deadly. Lastly, go ahead.
Are we worried about weight?
Weight is a thing, but thankfully on D&D on Roll20, as long as your equipment is there, it will turn red if you are over encumbered.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. It'll let you know, but make sure to add your equipment and things to that. Your carrying capacity is 15 times your strength score, which is, that's enough for you all to carry most things, right? I don't think it usually doesn't come up, but it can, depending on what's going on. So do keep that in mind. You can't just have everything.
Okay.
Right?
200 rocks.
So can we say that Vaga would have warm clothes, that we're getting warm clothes at Vaga's before we leave? Is that something we should add on our list? Because I just have like regular leather armor.
You all have reasonable warm clothes, right? Because you all live here, but they are not like they're normal cold crag clothes, right? They won't give you any special advantages right now, but that's just because you all are. But you all
right, we're raiding the store. Before we leave, we're raiding the store.
Oh yeah.
You have to head back to the town. Are you all? That's a whole nother conversation. If you all are going back to the town before leaving.
I mean,
we're not going south. I vote we don't go south at all.
We're not going south.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. But you all, as long as you have firewood, right, dry firewood and things, then you probably shouldn't have to worry about the cold for the night.
Okay.
But that will also depend on whether or not you all are lighting a fire for the night, right? There could be reasons why you all choose not to do that. But the two big concerns in the crag, because there's a lot of things, we can get into nitty-gritty details about stuff, but the three big things: carrying capacity, make sure you're not carrying too much.
Okay.
Food, because water seems to be taken care of with hog. So food and cold at night, right? Firewood to stay warm. Those are the three big things when you are traveling that you want to make sure you have enough of to get where you need to go. Otherwise, you could each one of those things can, if you travel during a day without dealing with one of those three things, then you get a point of exhaustion if you fail a constitution check. And that check increases the more days you're out in the crag. So, and points of exhaustion can lead to death.
Right.
So keep that in mind. That's the mechanic where you travel.
Before we roll out, Izzy was keeping a perimeter watch while we were doing everything. Do I need to roll a perception check for her or anything? Okay.
I would say she's been out there for a while. Coast is clear.
Coast is clear. And then I also want to run. I'm going to use her poison. I'm going to try to make a poison vial so she won't have her poison for today.
Okay.
If I either way. What do you need me to roll again for the
it's using your alchemist tools,
alchemist tools? Yeah.
and you are proficient, so
19.
19. Yep, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm back at 7 vials total.
Sure. And she's out of it for today.
She's out of it for today.
Remember, the oldest one is going to start deteriorating. So every day you're traveling.
Well, yeah, I know. I used one yesterday, last fight. So that was the oldest one. Today will be the next one if I use it. So
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So it sounds like the crew with this axe in hand have decided to head towards Mississippi.
Well, kind of in hand, hidden.
Not correct. Not in hand, but inside of a nice little sheepskin protection thing. But yeah, you all gather your things and you begin your trek into the wastes. I'm having just a great time, but it is almost 5. I know there's a scene that I would like to get to if we can, but it will depend on how much time you all want to spend, or if you want to call it here.
I'm open. It's up to you guys.
It's up to Trevor. I know it's like 3 a.m. for him.
It's
Yeah.
5 a.m. I will be okay for a little longer if you want to get to a scene for sure. If I'm yawning, I promise it's not because I'm bored. It's just the body.
It's 5
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can go a little longer if you want to get to a scene. It's totally doable. It's not like stress or anything.
I'm trying to think.
We did get a lot of information today that we could go over.
Cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, we'll wait. I think we'll wait.
Okay.
Just because I know what's going on.
There's a lot to digest too. I mean, like these are.
I think so.
And
I want to add more
notes. I shouldn't show you everything, but I mean, if you can just see the number of words here, that's all the notes I've taken. So I'll have to write some of those up.
Yeah.
But
and I will add some additional notes to the what's called the document, the Mehron's axe that you all have access to now.
Okay.
I'm just going to add some notes about who the different characters are and things like that for y'all's reference. But yeah, we're going to digest, and you all now have a destination in the wastes and a lot of questions, it feels like.
Yeah.
But you have begun your journey to try to find the answers. So I'm excited. We have everybody together. We have a trajectory. As a DM, that is like gold to have everybody unified in purpose and in destination. That's that. Everything else I can just leave up to you all now, and
Nice.
We'll see how it goes.
do you want to do a closing thing before I stop the recording?
Yeah, we'll do a closing. Let's just go around. We're gonna say one thing you are most confused about. We're going to start there. I am Diab Shesher. I am most confused about why some people are holding some information back. But we will see how that turns out later.
Some people.
Yeah, right. Looks over.
Who looks into my camera screen?
I'm looking at the camera. I see everybody. I'm not looking at anyone.
I mean, I can share that. It's not
You're
5
looking
yet.
at
I can
Greg.
share some information.
No,
We still have time.
No. Do what your character would do. I'm into this.
But yeah, we'll start with you.
I'm Trevor. I'm playing Hog, and I am most confused about this wonderfully written little scroll we got.
Yeah.
The poetry in it, but there's still some things I'm really curious about, really intrigued by.
Awesome. Let's head over to Raymond.
Raymond, I'm playing Milo. The axe is definitely thing. The other thing that I'm curious about, or just gonna mess with my head, is we have an informant, and we're leaving. So how are we gonna get in touch with it?
Well, that's why I said we should kill him.
Gate comes to town. So we'll have to send a note or something like, yeah, maybe there's a letter carrier in Chesapeake. I don't know, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Sure. Kyle.
So I'm Braum. I'm not really confused about anything. I'm pretty chill with the axe, and I know what's going on. I guess probably my character would be most confused about the necromancy that's going on. That being a human and a soldier, that's not something that I necessarily come into contact with a whole lot. Also because it's usually frowned upon, I'm pretty sure, in any sort of D&D thing I've ever done ever. So I don't know a whole lot about that, so that's probably most confusing to my character as a whole.
Before we touch, well, actually, let's go to Joe. There's something I did want to say about that, but let's go to Joe.
Okay. Joe, I'm playing Vaga. I'm confused. I'm confused about this bridge. I'm confused why we think that it's going to go where we think it's going to go, and why there were lots of things. I mean, we're going a direction, which is good. It's like this bridge. We're supposed to beware the bridge. Why are we looking for it? but yeah, that's what I'm.
But it's like the punchline to a puzzle, so we won't have any choice.
The other thing is, I don't know if, we can touch on a lot of those things, but I wanted to say something specific about the point of necromancy. Most cultures have a reason why they are not a fan of necromancy. Inside of like the D&D lore and history, necromancy is frowned upon because you are creating an unlife. You're making a zombie or a skeleton or something like that. And if you lose control of it, that thing wants to kill things, right? It's not a natural predator or an animal in the wild. It is something that is innately jealous of all things living and wants to destroy life, right? That's the general reason why a lot of people are against necromancy. Specifically, though, for the Crag, it is not an abstract idea why necromancy was outlawed. There's a lot of history pointing to necromancy being the reason why the dwarves have disappeared, and you all have found a little bit more about that. But the more recent is, let me find, that's a very important piece of information. There was, back in the history, and you can, if you read the history that I sent out to everybody, there was one specific orcish king. Do you all remember? I mentioned him.
I remember about him. Yeah, I don't remember the name.
He was an orcish king who, a long time ago, during one of the wars, not so far ago, maybe 20, 30 years.
Maybe. That last battle is what you said.
One of the last battles.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't the last one, but it was quite. It was what brought the elves on the side of the dragonkin, as opposed to on the side of the orcs and the humans. It was because there was this one orcish king who was being attacked by the dragonkin. They were doing really well. The dragonkin were getting reinforcements from the halflings they had enslaved at the time, and they were well fed, and they already could survive the cold. They had overcome the largest issues of the Crag and were doing really well in the conflict. The orcs were being pushed back. The humans were not super involved in the war at the time, so it was just orcs versus dragonkin and halflings, and the orcs were losing badly. One of the orcish kings decided to go with a lot of his counselors and things into the upper Riles to find answers. And he returned with none of his council members alive, and he had the new title of the Haunted. He raised undead armies to fight back against the dragonkin.
Did he have a name?
He did, yes. I have to find it.
It's nothing that was in that poetry, though, right?
It's not in the poetry, no.
Okay.
It was in one of the histories I sent you all beforehand.
But I just wanted to remember if that was the case.
It's one of those it's history, it's ancient history now, but it is still, it's the reason why people right now are against it, because he started winning the war, right? He encouraged people to kind of resort to cannibalism in a lot of ways, and they started winning, but at the cost that inside of the Orcish land, these portals to the abyss were opening and demons were crawling out of it and killing people. And eventually, the elves decided, hey, this is a really bad thing. I know we're not super big fans of the dragonkin, but we can't let that happen either. And the common people in the Orcish kingdom, as well as the dragonkin and the elves, they all rose up to slay this king, right? To make his death permanent. And they did so. In the process, in one of the fights, one of the wife of one of the human princes was killed, and that's why the humans joined the orcs in their fight. But they did kill that. They final death, I guess you could say, the Orcish king at that time that was doing all that necromancy, and he was defeated, but it kind of left a bad taste in everyone's mouth about necromancy, right? So that's why, in general, if you were doing necromancy, you would be definitely killed immediately, right? That's why the Order of the Undead has had to work in secret from your experience. If they were running around doing stuff, you would definitely hear about it, right? And any words about Kronos, that's his name. How did I forget Kronos? Yeah, Kronos is his name. But so that's why all necromancy right now is very, very taboo. Usually in D&D, it's a very abstract reason why people don't like necromancy. In the Crag, it's because of Kronos. It's that guy, right? That's why it's outlawed, because while necromancy can be used to try to just extend life and, for all the positive things it brings, it was opening rifts to the abyss. And that is no good. It's just not good at all. And no one knows really why necromancy started doing that, because as a subject, necromancy is not inherently something that summons demons, right? Those two aren't necessarily related, but just from what this axe is saying, there is some sort of relationship with the Crag and Orcus. So that could be part of it.
Question. You said those were he went north. Kronos went north.
Kronos did, yes.
And that's where he got his power from in necromancy.
Yes.
You guys thinking where I'm kind of see where I'm heading with that?
Yeah. North is
if this is a ceremonial tool for blood sacrifices, which is what we're thinking it is right now, shouldn't we head to where we know a ceremony's been done?
I really feel like we should go into the southern mountains.
I mean, I'm still game for going south, because I kind of want to talk to the elves. I'm not gonna lie.
And that is.
We're not going to be on the elven side. We're going to the eastern side, with the lower Ryles. The elves are on this side of the river in the south.
So they're only on the west side, though. Then southern left side.
They could be on the right side, but they're on the other side of the mountain range, regardless. Okay. Either way.
Oh.
Okay.
So it could be either sides of the river, but south of the Ryles.
Okay. Because I just figured they may know more information, because they do have longer lifespans as well. So they might know something, or we might get a priest that knows something more.
Sure.
Just a thought. But if we're heading down that way. But I was just thinking the north, that might be an idea because of the ceremonial situation. I mean, he went up there to get power, and we're told maybe somebody's his axe or Orcus's axe. So
This is so painful.
I'm sure it is.
I'm looking at several players right now, and I can't say anything at all. So you all have a good day.
All right, man.
All right.
But this is my favorite part of games like this. Like, you never know. You never know what's going on. But I wanted to say that because that is public knowledge. It's very, very, very public knowledge that this happened at a point not so long ago, like in the last 100 years. So it's not so. It's like a very recent sore point. Like there are people who, even to this day, wandering the wastes, could come across a demon because there's still residual effects from what this guy did.
Well, that's good to know. So, guys, we could find a demon.
We're going to be fighting a demon at some point.
I'm just saying there could be, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So there is.
Hashtag it's there.
Like, see that little hazy spot right south of Lerone? Yeah, demon.
Right there. Right
there.
Hashtag demon second.
Right.
Hashtag demon second. Ease.
Sheesh. All right, guys.
But yeah, we don't, but that's why it's been outlawed, is because it has strange unknown side effects that have happened with its use.
Gotcha.
All right, dudes. I will finish off this recording, and I will see you guys next week.
Sounds like a plan.
I can't wait. And now I know where you all are going.
Yeah,
So-
it's good to have direction. Thanks very much,
We're
everybody.
going north.
We're going north.
They know we're going south.
It'll be great.
All right, guys.
Looking forward to it, guys. Have a good night, Trevor.
All right.
Thanks for coming
Yeah,
by.
absolutely. I'll be better next time. It's a little bit of jet lag right now, but I'm
You're
in
good,
quarantine,
man.
so I got
You're
nothing.
fine.
Fine.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Apologies needed.
Good night for now.
Good night.
Later. Night.
Bye.